unless the mother's life is at direct risk, that can be mental or physical.
That's so bad. Like, oh my gosh, because like whether, like if you're having a child, obviously like your life's going to be affected for like the rest of that life, and like it's just so bad that they're not giving them that choice unless it's something that is like a health risk, because they're bringing like that child into the world and just not thinking about like the consequences of it and the consequences on the mother's life already, and somebody that's already in this world and like has their own body, and they're not giving them like their rights to that. And then they're kind of like trying to justify it by saying, oh, we'll give you a bit of the right though, because if you've got a health problem then you can have some of the rights back, but at the end of the day they're like not giving them any right to their body.
I think everyone should have the choice. A lot of people don't agree with it, and that's up to them, but you should never impose those views on anyone. Personally, I'm pro-choice, obviously, and I think that everyone should have the right to choose whether to have an abortion or not. And I feel like a lot of pro-life people aren't really pro-life, they're more pro-birth.
Right.
Because people who
That's so
tend
true.
to be pro-life are people who don't actually care about what happens to the baby once it's born.
Yeah.
So they're usually the people who vote against welfare, or they vote against housing, or they vote against better education. So as long as the baby's born, they're good, but actually they really care about the baby once it's born.
Yeah. It's interesting to think about people that claim to be pro-life. I think we have to phrase that as anti-abortion, because if someone's saying they're pro-life and they're not going to give much of a damn once that child is in the world, like there's no way you can claim that. And also these are probably the same people that have certain opinions about minority groups, that they don't deserve the rights to live. And it's like, if that's pro-life, I think we need to rethink the terminology. And also being pro-choice does not mean pro-abortion, and I think that's something that needs to be made really clear.
I think when we think about countries where abortion is illegal, we tend to think about it as a really far off problem, like it's in in the developing world or whatever, but actually it's right on our doorstep. And I think we have a responsibility as fairly privileged women in this country who have that privilege to promote the rights of people who don't. So yeah, I think even if we're not part of we're not part of Parliament, but we can do whatever we can. We can do our bit to help women who can't speak up for themselves, I guess, really.
Even if you personally don't believe that you would have an abortion, you have to respect that is not the decision that everyone's going to make. If we can find a way to raise our voices on the issue here, then I think that's going to help.